Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupine avatara varishtaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha. The whole universe as manifestation of God, and God being its substratum, God being the content, it exists. Otherwise, there is no existence. From the absolute eternal, the relative gets manifested without affecting the absolute. Though it remains in the absolute, it remains unaffected. Like fire in the space doesn't burn space, nor space has anything to do with the fire or instigates, just gives existence to exist. In the same way, the absolute existence, the Satchidananda Sagara, the ocean of bliss, peace, love absolute, the existence, consciousness, bliss absolute, Satchidananda. In the ocean of Satchidananda, universe with all beings appear and disappear. It is manifestation of the absolute without undergoing any transformation by itself or losing anything or gaining anything. It remains as it is, like a dream world appears in your mind when you enter the dream world. When you sleep and enter in your brain, within you, a universe appears and universe disappears of the dream world. It doesn't affect you, nor you know it has emerged within you and from you it went away. In the same way, universe appear and disappear. It goes on oscillating because time and space-bound universe with the jivas, all jivas, with jivatva, I am a living being, that consciousness, even plants do have. The plants also do have I. It may not be having senses to perceive the external world, but it understands and it exists. It perceives in its own way, independent of, and utilizes, because perception is there. It is able to absorb what is to be absorbed through the ground. Every root is like a eye. Now, in heart surgery or this putting the stent and all that in the heart, how they take a catheter to the heart through the vein, like that, it will be projecting how it perceives everything happening in the heart. The perception, the whole universe with all things appear, and the individual existence is projection of the Chaitanya and consciousness, pervading consciousness, and individual like sparks emerging and being in connection with. If it doesn't exist, now the existence of the Jiva is manifestation of the universal consciousness through bodies. Jivatva. The Jivatva, it accepts the Jivatva. I am Jiva. Immediately you see it is in the relative existence. From the absolute, it immediately is shifted to the relative existence. If it doesn't accept its alpatva, the limitedness, it says whether I am ice or water, I am the ocean. It immediately dissolves. Those consciousness, because consciousness has three powers, Ichcha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Jnana Shakti makes it know, understand. I have become Alpa, it accepts. It is in the relative existence. I am after all the same ocean, it dissolves in the ocean. Now the absolute existence not only creates the universe, but pervades it. It remains the substratum also of sustenance. This belongs to the existence, belongs to the absolute. It has just taken name and form. The mind is one, it is taking name and form and multitude in your mind, in dream. One mind is becoming a world. Like that, when the power of consciousness manifests as universe, the consciousness must be there to support it. And this support, this is the existence. Jiva's existence, the universe existence. Existence belongs to the absolute. It's just to take a name and form. Nothing else. Just like water becomes cloud. Water evaporates and slowly we don't see water climbing up. It just goes up and takes the form of cloud. Varieties of forms. One water vapor is taking innumerable forms of like that. The whole thing is one material. It is appearing as my identify with the dream body makes the dream world real for me. Likewise, my identification with this body makes the world real for me. Otherwise, it is one substance, the God. When we wake up, we understand it is God alone. When we realize and come back from the Samadhi Sthiti, we experience that God alone is there. That's what Sri Ramakrishna is telling. But the universe and its created beings and the 24 cosmic principles that exist belong because God exists. Nothing remains if God is eliminated. The number of zeros, the number increases if you put many zeros after figure 1. But zeros do not have any value if 1 is not there. Beautiful analogy. Number of zeros is there. As many zeros, it is zero only. If you put millions of zeros also, one next to the other, a chain of zeros is zero only. But just to put 1 behind it, it becomes innumerable number. We cannot count number of zeros perhaps. Like that will be that figure. That 1 gives the value for all the zeros. And the whole universe is like that. All zeros. Only name and form. And 1 if you put immediately, there appears life. It gets existence. Each one will get each number, each zero becomes an entity, existing entity. Existence comes into them. We used to usually think that Sri Ramakrishna did not like or learn mathematics. It was very difficult for him. When he used his analogy, adding 1 behind the zeros, we know it's spiritual worth of the mathematics. Master continued, there are some who come down, as it were, after attaining knowledge of the Brahman, after Samadhi, and retain the ego of knowledge or ego of devotion, just as they Just as there are people who of their own sweet will stay in the marketplace after the market breaks up. An important information, this one, or knowledge Sri Ramakrishna is giving us. After realizing God, the world doesn't exist. After realizing God, after entering into Samadhi, when we come down, the world that I was seeing, the world disappears altogether. No more world there. God alone is there in this form of the universe. And world has disappeared, like marketplace has disappeared after all have left the place. But some retain. Just like all people have gone, a few may be walking here then freely after the market has disappeared. Like that, these people, even after realizing God and the world disappearing, they are still moving about amidst the people as if they are bound and they are ordinary jivas. They retain to remain there. They retain either the ego of the jnana or ego of bhakti, of knowledge or devotion to God. That I must remain in some way to retain the appearance, a semblance of a jiva, because the nature, he has full capacity and option to choose as he wants to live. If he wants to become one with the absolute, a drop on to become the after seeing the ocean. If the drop wants to dive into the ocean and become one with the ocean, or it wants to retain its identity separately by becoming a ice piece, doesn't matter. So many places are there where ice doesn't melt at all. Sri Ramakrishna used to say how the God appears to a bhakta. The whole ocean is water, and here and there we see, because of the excessive cold, some region have become ice. God takes form for the sake of devotee. So this retention of ego as jnana or bhakti make them to move about amidst the people in this world, but untouched by the world. They become just like space. Space is untouched by anything, unaffected by anything. They move about. All jivas are karma bound. The karmic law, whatever they do, see, eat, move, do anything, it is accumulating as karma, the karmic load. So here they are not bound by karma. They don't have karma to work out also. They are moving about out of their own will option. This was the case with sages like Narada. In case of Narada, they are considered as Nitya Siddha. Now, after realization, there are varieties of people, realized souls. Jivan Muktas are there, who have finished what they have to attain in this world, and they are eternally free. The jivas, free jivas. They are moving about in this world. Then they are still alive, Jivan Mukta, they are alive in the same body and continuing there. Then there are Chiranjeevis, who are eternally living and continue to live as long as the universe exists. Chiranjeevis. With the end of the kalpa, they dissolve in the absolute kalpa. They dissolve in the absolute. They are the bliss or the gods moving about in the world as if Chiranjeevis. They are Prakriti Leena Purushas, when you have merged in the nature to be one with all beings and all that exists as part of nature. To experience that vastness, Prakriti Leena Purushas are there. Nitya Siddhas are there. Ishwar Kotis are there. Ishwar Koti are after realization, the nature or the divine, selecting a few people to go with the Lord when He takes incarnation and comes down to the earth. They are Ishwara Kotis. Now coming to Nitya Siddhas, they are eternally free. At the time of creation, they appear with Purna Jnana. They remain in the translative existence when the universe dissolves. Just like we sleep and wake up, the whole universe goes back to causal form and reappears. So this dissolution and again creation, Srishti Sthiti Pralaya, the creation or manifestation or projection of the universe and its sustenance and then its dissolution or retraction continues in a cyclic order, just like we sleep and wake up. And it continues eternally. We live for 100 years and maximum, and the body falls off. The universe continues forever because time and space appears with creation and time and space dissolves in creation, with creation. There is no timeless, spaceless existence. When we sleep, the universal time is continuing. My individual awareness of time and space is dissolved. In deep sleep, I don't have the awareness of time and space. My time and my space understanding is dissolved. But in dissolved state, I'm still in the universe, within the universe, and the universe, time and space is continuing. So I am aging. When universe dissolves, there is no aging continuing. Because time appears with the universe, dissolves with the universe. That's why we consider time as the cyclic. It continues in a cyclic way. With creation it appears, with creation it disappears, with dissolution it disappears, time. But our time, though individually it dissolves, we are subjected to the time of the universe. It's a constantly changing flux, and change registers time, and time makes us age. Past, present, future comes into picture, and we have to leave the body and enter a new one because it is cycle. So when the universe dissolves, there is no more cycle because the time beyond is the timeless existence. Because it is timeless, it dissolves and nothing remains. Again appears with time. The knowledge alone of the universe, how it existed when it slept off, we can say, remains with the absolute as knowledge, pure Shuddha Jnana, and again makes it reappear. So this is what we see in the case of here when these realized souls who retain that knowledge of the absolute to make others in the next creation, who is going to tell us that a thing called God is there is a transcendental existence? Who is going to tell us? Somebody, because there is no proof of existence of God except the scriptures say and the realized souls say, enlightened souls say. That is the only proof we have of the. If nobody says, neither when the creation comes, neither scripture will be there, nor the realized souls. So these realized souls who have got complete knowledge, they are called Nitya Siddhas. They, having attained the knowledge, they remain to come back again to give the knowledge of God to other people with creation. They appear with creation and they go back to the trans-relative existence, existence beyond the creation, but within the a kind of space and time which is not relative. But time is there, space is there, not governed by the law of causation. It's a no man's land, space between the absolute and the relative. Sri Ramakrishna says, one day I was meditating, I lost my external consciousness, I started raising to higher and higher levels of consciousness. I started transcending one by one layer of planes of existence. Finally, I reached the ultimate level of existence. After that, the absolute begins. We went to the edge of the universe, which contains various levels of planes of existence, various dimensions. Crossing, the next is to enter the absolute. Before the absolute appears, and after the universe ends, there is a place, a space which neither belongs to the absolute nor to the relative. This is trans-relative existence. And this trans-relative existence is where these Nityasiddhas go and remain when the universe dissolves. So they are enlightened, they remain in absolute bliss absolute but if they transcend the transrelative, they dissolve. Because universe is not there, time and space is not there. So they are retained in a, Thakur says, I saw 7 sages sitting in meditation, and the light pervading the space condensed into a small baby and went to one of the sages sitting with closed eyes and tapping on him said, we have to go down to the earth for the welfare of the people. Just a small opening in the eye and again closing with a smile. A ray of light descends to the earth. And Sri Ramakrishna says that was Vivekananda. So that and the light which condensed into a baby is, we can know from our realized elders that it was Sri Ramakrishna, God taking human form. And that relative existence, these Nityasiddhas like these Saptarishis, were Sri Ramakrishna sees them there. And we see the Nityasiddhas like Narada also exist there, live there when the universe disappears, dissolves, and again appear with the creation. The moment creation is ready and the jivas are appearing, the Nityasiddhas are already there to give the knowledge to the people who are already reaching that state of evolution, because new creation comes with as it was at the end of the previous cycle. In that previous cycle, many might have been ready to receive the knowledge. Their evolution to divine Buddha must be just waiting for a small cause, a small ignorance or desire to disappear. They are ready for knowledge. At that time we see these people giving knowledge to them, and the Guru Parampara, Jnana Parampara, Bhakti Parampara continues. So here Sri Ramakrishna is giving a understanding of the Nitya Siddhas also. This was the case with sages like Narada. They kept the ego of devotion, bhakti, for the purpose of teaching men. Shankaracharya kept the ego of knowledge for the same purpose. The purpose is same, to bring the knowledge of God, bring the knowledge of the transcendental realm, which is inaccessible to all the instruments the human possess. We have mind, we have intellect, we have senses, nothing can reach. We have a heart to love also, nothing can reach the beyond. So the proof of existence itself is not there. So these people give the proof. These people will show the path of bhakti, path of jnana. Go along this path. I have gone, I have seen, I have attained. You too can see, attain. And Shankaracharya kept the ego of knowledge, jnana, and Narada kept the ego of millions came, millions appeared, millions gave the knowledge to the people and went. Many thousands of people must have been realizing God and disappearing from this universe. And time and again we see again the lives on the earth never ending. The scriptures tell about the appearance of the jivas. Excessive bliss spurts forth as the individual jivas in the universe. It is, the example is given is like red hot iron on which the hammer blow is given. When the hammer blow falls on it, you see the sparks emerging from that and spreading down. So like that, the jivas again appear in the universe and again passing through many lives and various experiences necessary for its evolution, go back to the source. God cannot be realized if there is slightest attachment to the things of the world. A thread cannot pass through the eye of a needle if the tiniest fiber sticks out. God cannot be realized if there is slightest attachment to things. Any kind of attachment. The thing is, realization is transcendence of nature. You cannot hold anything of the nature if you want to go beyond. A small awareness of the or any thought of the world, if you try to hold, you cannot enter into sleep. It is something binding behind. So I cannot go to the next body also. I have to leave everything of this universe, including my relative existence pertaining to this body and mind. I leave everything before we enter into the transcendental realm. All bonds are cut, all holdings are left, and then we enter into the transcendental. Om Niranjanam Nityamanantarupam Bhaktanukampa Dritavigraham Vai Ishavataram Parameshamidhyam Tam Ramakrishnam Shirasa Namamaha.